All right, my lovely people. Thank you for tuning into the Orchid Chronicles as usual. Today is a tissue culture update kind of day. And so I have a whole bunch of exciting things going on. Before we get into these guys and what everything here is, I just wanted to mention a couple of quick things. One, I made some improvements to the glove box. I replaced the glove on the right hand side because the old one was getting a little bit torn just because the edge of this is kind of sharp and kind of cuts it. What I had then done was I removed the glove, the old glove, and put some tape over the actual plastic. So this is there's a plastic deli cup, one of these, that I've cut on the bottom of the top and jammed it through the holes to kind of make a little bit of, I don't know, like a pipe, basically. And so I covered that edge so that the glove would be less likely to puncture. It's a little bit of a tighter squeeze now, but I have pretty skinny wrists, so I should be able to, yeah, I can get my hand in there without too much of an issue. That way I just have a little bit more of a secure setup. The main hurdle is the fact that my hand is a little bit wider than my wrist, so I'd have to like do this so that I can get my hand through the because I constricted this a little bit by accident, but that's okay. Anyway, couple things. One, I went to Joblet and found these really nice containers here. They're really sturdy. The thing I like about them is they are very spacious in terms of floor space, and that helps because I don't know if you guys have seen my jars where the seeds really clump together when you put any amount on the surface of the media and something like that. So the first thing I did was I bought one of these and I threw it through the pressure cooker, which is currently drawing over there, but that's another matter. And it survived. So then I made some test media to make sure that after this is pressure cooked and all, microbes would stay out of it. And I'm waiting a little bit longer. I think I threw this through on maybe Friday or Saturday, and it's only Monday, so probably by the weekend, early next week, I will know whether or not this stayed uncontaminated. But I did go ahead and I bought several others. This was $2.50 at Joblot. This is $2 at Joblot, so they're not overly expensive. They're, you know, fairly high end. They're sturdy. If you read the bottom here, if I can, it says it can withstand 245 degrees Fahrenheit. And the glove box, I mean the pressure cooker, I think it's like 230 or something like that. So that's why it didn't get damaged by being put in the pressure cooker. So that works really, really well for everything that I'm doing. I have started to tissue culture carnivorous plants. I don't know if I've mentioned that yet. These are Drosera regia or king sundew seeds. They'll take several more weeks to actually germinate, but I put them on MS media. We have our November 1st Catalea intergenerics. Not too much going on there yet. Some of the seeds look like they might be swelling. Some of the ones that I put on the media from a different seed pod a couple weeks ago seem to be progressing quite rapidly. The Meristem rescue did not work at all. It was contaminated after a while, after a few days. I think it just had to do with the bacteria and stuff that you can't really clean from the roots that I tried to. But anyway, I did replate one protocorm already on some P748 media, and I'm going to do that more with some of the Phalaenopsis on those containers of media. I'm also going to make some more P668 to do some replating, see if there's a difference when you replate them in the different media. It should be a fun thing to watch. Other quick program notes. The Cypripedium seemed to be germinating a little bit. I quickly checked on the box and grabbed a few jars. I didn't really want to leave them out for too long because they need to stay dark. But I did pull out a jar of each species, and it looked like there was some development. At the very least, there was no contamination. So I'm hoping that that'll yield something in a few more months, and I can start doing replating and whatnot. So it does look like the protocorms in here could use some replating. There's quite a variation in the size and the density of them. I think the other jar of them is even more crowded. Yeah, I'm gonna start working on this. They were plated up on the 24th of September, and it's now, 2.5 months later. So why don't I do this out in the open? No, I'm just kidding. Let's see. Do I want to film me doing some of this? Yeah, why not? Give me a second, people. So funny thing happened earlier today when I was working on the glove box. My advisor came into the lab, as he will sometimes do, and he asked what was smelling so awful. And I thought to myself, probably the smell of death, because the glove box was open for a short period of time, and it's just loaded with bleach solution and alcohol and everything else you would need to ensure that no nasty contaminants afflict your tissue culture. Although that container of liquid media that had the protocorms, that protocorm that's a load on that little flask, I dropped some liquid media, and a couple of days afterwards it just broke out in mold. Even though the jar didn't break, I think what happened was it stirred up and caught some spores that may have been at the very rim of the container that were otherwise undisturbed. I don't really know what happened, but I had to surface sterilize the protocorm. It seems to be doing okay, but the others didn't make it. But that's the sort of thing that happens. And my scalpel blade broke, so I have to wait for my new ones to come in the mail. Alright, so this is pretty straightforward from here. Everything that I need to go. Now, I don't know if you've noticed. How do I explain this? So you notice that there's this long blue glove. I don't have another one of these right now. I went to Job Lot where they had sold these, but they only had the smallest size, and this is the largest size, which is a decent length. I have yet to find another glove like this. These are the decent, almost perfect size gloves for the glove box. The really short glove here doesn't really do it for me. By the way, the old birthmark scab thing in my hand is not that red in real life. It's just the way the light reflects off of it on the camera. It's more of a pale pink, but that's a different story. Anyway, let me just move all these off here. I shifted everything so that if I have to do any reaching, it'll have to be with my left hand. I am fairly right-handed, but I'm not really so right-hand dominant. I can't function if I have to use my left hand for stuff. So that's just something I will quickly make mention of. Let's see. I'm not going to need these pair of tweezers. I try not to put stuff in the glove box that I'm not going to end up needing. I might use these. Let me throw all the tools down in there that I'm going to need. See, I'm not going to need this right now. Alright, I think we all know the drill by now. I can't smell, but the weird air current that comes off of the glove box when you open it is pretty powerful, which does indicate that the glove box is keeping things absolutely sterile. Yeah, let me put these in there. Let's see, do I need any distilled water? Nah. Alright, now, these are really cool. These are glass salt and pepper shakers, but because they have this aluminum, what I do first, before I put them in the glove box, is I take my ethanol. I'm going to need to refill this soon. And I aim the ethanol right up into the aluminum, just in case anything had gotten into there between the time that I pressure cooked and the time that I'm using it. This media is about a week old now. Aha. Victory for Alice. So I'm just going to quickly get that. Then I'm going to put it in the glove box and do that to the other two. Now the good thing here is that no plant material has to be sterilized. Okay, because the plants have been growing in the vessel completely aseptically. So as well, now I'm getting alcohol all down my arm, but that's okay, it evaporates. So now that I've gotten the alcohol into the aluminum, that prevents anything from being dislodged from the outside of the container and put into the inside. Then I can open this. I'm gonna have to put my phone down because I have to lift this and spray the heck out of all of the outside surface. Oops. My handy dandy tissue culture seat that is pretty much the perfect height for my hands to fit comfortably into the glove box. And let's see. What I'll just generally start by doing is doing some dipping into the thing so I can start sterilizing out the gloves, and I'll start spritzing everything down. So let's get this going. Let me see if there's a way I can on this. Got it. I actually have a ladder propped above the glove box with, actually let me quickly show you what I set the phone on. Ladder, yardsticks, and then the phone just nests gently on these. And let's just hope for the best. I would say pray for the best, but I don't believe in doing that. Okay. So now I am able to get my hands in the gloves in the glove box. Come put a little love in my glove box. I'm just gonna kind of make sure that all of the materials in here are sterile. I sprayed out. Sometimes you gotta squirt this a couple times. I sprayed on the gloves so that those are sterile. Again, just making sure that everything is decontaminated. I spray all around the sides just to make sure it's all decontaminated, and I make sure I aerosolize some ethanol throughout the box to catch any airborne spores and whatnot, just to make sure it's all decontaminated. That's the best way. I had a funny feeling that would happen, but that's okay. Give me a moment. Alright, let's hope that works. So as I was saying, I'm going to try to speak a little bit louder because I don't know how well the audio is going to wind up. And again, I don't have any fancy editing software or whatnot, so I kind of just wing it. Let me just quickly spritz down the rest of this. Spritz inside of the pipes or tubes, if you will, into here. Spray the gloves. Spray everything. Make sure that everything is nice and alcoholed. Alcohol is great for so many different things. Please drink responsibly. Alright, anyways. So now that I've gotten the majority of that done, I can safely now start working on opening up the jars that I want to put the seeds on, the protocorms onto new media with. I don't really know if I needed, oh, I actually do. Alright, so I'm going to start with the salt and pepper shaker jars. I removed the first lid, and I'm just going to give it a quick dip in the ethanol, just to be safe. I usually will just wipe the edges of the aluminum, and then I'll very carefully kind of, before I loosen it a little bit, the aluminum, I loosen it up, and then in one motion I get it off, and then I dunk it in the ethanol. Then what I do is I dip my fingers in the ethanol and I just quickly wipe around the rim. I don't want to get too much ethanol in there. I'm also going to quickly tilt this to get rid of any excess moisture that may have settled on the surface of the media. And I start with that. And then what I want to do is I want to grab the protocorms that are on the media here. And what I should do first, because I'm about to spray some ethanol, is quickly cap that again. I'm going to move this aside for a sec. And then I am going to take my spray bottle and very carefully, oopsie, don't want that to happen. Now the inside of this box should be sterile, so it should be okay, but I want to quickly spritz the rim here, because a lot of contaminants like to settle on this part of the lid. Okay, that should be fine. Now that I've done that, I'm going to make sure I wipe down the sides with some ethanol so that the outside of my container is sterile. Then what I'll do is I'll take some tweezers and throw them in the ethanol to react off the extra bleach. And now here comes the part where I open up the lid with all of the protocorms. Uh-oh. Okay. And then what I want to start doing is I want to open up my jar here, and I want to take my tweezers and I want to start pulling out protocorms. No, actually, I might have better luck using the spatula. Good thing I packed the spatula. Alright, give me a second, guys. Just gotta make sure there's really no ethanol on the spatula. And then there we go. I got some protocorms up. I'll put them on the surface of the media there. I'll get rid of the spent media. re-sterilize that, and then what I'll do is I will take my tweezers here, give them a good give them a good shake, and then I'll use them to spread the protocorms across the media surface. Oh, crud. Right, we have a slight issue here, folks. You don't really want to get ethanol on the protocorms. Ethanol is toxic, children. Alright, I'm going to cap this one here. Just gently put the cap on. I don't know how these will fare because of the ethanol bath, but I guess we'll find out. Now I just got to find the darn lid for this thing. What the heck? Oh, crud. Must rescue it. Got it. Boy. So I think my next step will be to use a jar that doesn't have the aluminum lid. Such as this one. Give it a quick immersion in the ethanol. Just get the lid off. Quickly dip the lid in the ethanol. Set the lid up to the side, as well as the completed jar of replated children. It will hopefully make it. Dump some of that extra gunk out. And we'll work back at it. Alright, so I think I've demonstrated the general go around of this. So, yeah, just stay tuned and wish me luck.